So thanks for coming out.
Of course. Thanks for thinking of me. That was awesome. I'm excited.
Yeah, we're just looking at the levels
I'm not
here.
yelling, am I?
No, you're good. It's plenty. If anything, you should raise it up.
Okay.
All right. So you are Ehcrama Marche?
March. I usually say March. In Spanish, I say Marche.
Marche.
But the root is French, so I guess it's Marche. I don't know. I have to look into it.
Okay, so it depends on who you're talking to. Like,
Yeah.
if-
Because actually, my family from the Dominican Republic say Marquis. Marche
Marquis.
is Marquis, yeah.
Okay.
So I just go with the flow. I mean, my
Okay.
name is already odd, so I'm just I
Yeah.
guess it's March.
So you're just happy if people get the first part right.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, well, like I said, thanks for coming to my humble abode here.
Of course.
I wanted to, I am excited to talk about your latest venture,
Yes.
which is, because we're in the deep quarantine state right
Yeah,
now,
we still are.
and you've had something to really put your time into as of late.
Yes,
your-
as of March.
As of March,
Yeah.
which was coincidentally lined up with
The quarantine.
the virus.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm very happy about that. You were the first one I told the
I
idea
remember.
about. So did you see it and you were like, oh wow, she actually did it?
No, it's always cool. All right, so we're talking about Hello Black Mexicans.
Yes.
Animated web series
Yes.
is its current state. Are you looking at your levels still?
No.
All right, we're good. Okay, so yeah, we had coffee in the before times, and you had told me about. I think you hadn't started it yet.
I hadn't. No. I think I had like a little rough cut. I was telling you like, okay, this is maybe what I'm trying to do now. And then but yeah, I didn't think it was gonna. I mean, we're already, I think, 6 months in, so I'm very surprised that I've kept it up for that long.
No, I'm a huge fan of people doing stuff they say they're gonna do, and being consistent with it for sure. Like you just released episode 12 like yesterday or the night before. Was it last night?
It was yesterday,
Okay.
I think. Wait, was it yesterday? Wait, what day is it today? It was on Sunday, so it was the day before yesterday.
Gotcha. Yeah, so talk to us. Talk about, let's start with, because some of this I know because we already talked about it, but the classic question, what inspired the
cartoon?
Yeah, why? The story in general.
So the story is inspired, or loosely inspired, by my life. It's hard being like a mix because you don't feel like you belong anywhere. I grew up in a city where it was really only Hispanics. There's absolutely no Black. There's a few Armenian, a few Chinese, but Black was rare. Like, you never seen it. And so growing up, that's how I was in school. I was like the only Black girl in elementary, middle school. High school, there was like maybe 2 more Black people. But even then, it was already weird that I was like the only Black person. And then on top of that, speaking Spanish was kind of just like a fish out of water. Like, people didn't expect me to. And I just went through a lot of stuff that I laugh about now, that I was like, you know what, this would make an amazing series. Like, there's not a series out there that's like of Afro-Latinas or people of mixed race yet. So I was like, I want to come out, tell my story, and share it, because it's like, I think it's hilarious. Like, now when I look back at it, I'm like, wow. Like, maybe I was struggling back then, but it's definitely like funny now. And
because the cartoon itself, I don't know what the extent or what you're like, if you have seasons planned now that you're got it rolling or not. But regardless, as of right now, the main story is about the little girl, which, like you said, is loosely based on you. Which, I mean, it is you in the story. But yeah, she goes through the stages of discovering that she's black and not actually like her mom and her brother. So that is yours. You went through that.
That's my story.
That's your story.
That was definitely. It's just so weird. I guess I was very naive. I was very young. Like, I thought I was white, honestly. I didn't even know I was like a black girl. And then it's like, you know, just because the people you're surrounded with, you think you're one of them, or not one of them specifically, but you don't think you're different, you know, but other people are seeing you different,
or you don't think it matters.
I don't. And then because that too, my mom never was the one to, like, she never sat me down and was like, honey, you're black and you need to be careful because blah, blah, blah. Like, never. Like, she never made me feel like I was different, my brother either, so I never thought I was different, which it's not a bad thing to be different, and it's really just like more pigment of color, so it's not really like, but you are treated different in society, so to an extent, you know, you are different. Well,
I mean, that's a lot. It's a lot to unpack for sure. Because we can talk about you and how growing up was with. Okay, because I like to think about, because this is, I mean, I'm sure, I don't know how many people go through a version of this, but like I know I've gone through, not to that extent, but like there's a version that you see in yourself that you're like, okay, in my brain I think like this and I act like this and I see myself like this, but then the world perceives you in a different way, and you try to like find a way to find that balance so that way you're giving out something that's expected. Like, it's a weird. So what is that like?
Well, up to like the age of 10, like once I was 10, that's when I was like, okay, like I'm legit a black person, you know? So I wanted to get in touch with like my black side. I wanted to know, like, okay, who are famous people that are black? Who are some famous women that are black? And just because my mom did raise me by herself, so I did meet my dad, and I would see my dad once in a while, but he wasn't like there all the time for me to be like, oh, okay, I'm like you, you're like me, it's fine. Like, it was more so like, okay, I'm here by myself. And for the Mexican part of it, I didn't have to try to be like Mexican. I was just legit full-on Mexican. I didn't learn English until I was 5. Like, I was just, you know, full-on Mexican. But then after, I don't think I ever really tried to tap into like the black side as much, just because I wanted to fit in so bad with like this whole, you know, like that the whole community is Hispanic. And I remember when I was younger, my dad, he's Dominican, he's still black, you know, but he wouldn't talk down on other black people, but certain actions that black people do, like, black people, we have like a huge like stereotype around us, you know, like, oh, they steal, like negative stuff, you know? So my dad would really try to be like, oh, you're not black, like, you're this. And then it'd make me kind of feel like, okay, maybe I'm not supposed to be like black, or maybe how do I not act black when I am black? So it was just awkward. I wouldn't really like tap into that world of being black, but I did look up artists, and like that's when I got into like rapping a little bit. And the first artist was actually Eminem, who is not black, but I was just like, oh, he's a fish out of water in the rap game. I'm a fish out of water here in my community. So I just felt like it was cool.
Yeah, because in the show you do the quick Google search and the artist that you actually find in the show is Snoop Dogg. Yeah, so... Spoiler, sorry.
I definitely, remember that, thinking like, okay, he has the same hair as me, he has the same skin tone as me, and I mean, Black people created like hip hop, you know, so I was very proud of that, but I felt like I didn't belong there still, and I felt like I didn't belong in my community.
Yeah.
So I think slowly, like, I'm still learning like about Black culture. Like, my first Black friend was literally when I got to college. I didn't have any Black friends, like, at all. Like, you know how you have those like white friends and Hispanic friends that are like, oh, I'm not racist, my friend's Black. Like, I was that friend to them. You know,
you were the friend that made them not racist.
Pretty much. Like, they'll be like, oh, well, I'm not racist because my friend Ehcrama is Black, and I'll be like, hey, hi, that's me. Yeah. Sorry.
No, it's all good. Okay. Because I guess, like, what I'm trying to... Because you've talked before about, like... And you hint at moments in the show. Because what age were you when you found out you were Black?
I was in fourth grade, so I'm pretty sure I was 9 or 10 years old.
Yeah.
And I wasn't like disappointed. I think I was more so happy to be different. I just remember coming home, because in the episode, it's episode 2, I believe, or 3, where I find out I'm Black on stage because I'm putting white foundation. Yeah. Another spoiler alert. I'm putting white foundation on my skin. And I remember I went home and I asked my mom, like, why don't I look like you or my brother? And she was just like, oh, well, because you look like your dad. And then I just remember thinking, like, wow, I really I didn't get anything from you. Like, I got your height and your short fingers. Like, I didn't get your hair. So a lot of the times, like, after I had found out, I was just thinking, like, wow, I don't have straight hair. I don't have lighter skin. And I would just think, like, I wonder if people would treat me nicer. Because, well, one thing, I never got bullied, you know, because I was darker. I was never told, like, oh, you can't hang out with us because you're Black. Like, that never happened. But I think that I would think, like, oh, maybe if I was light-skinned, I would be, like, pretty, or people would, you know, I don't know. I just started, like, putting those thoughts in my head, like, as soon as I had found out. And I think they just kept going even through middle school a little bit, just because I'm not surrounded by anyone who looked like me. But sorry, what was the question?
So I guess, like, I'm curious. Well, I didn't really have a question in there, but I was curious about because there's different worlds that we enter as people. We're talking, like, there's the world of school. There's elementary school, there's middle school, there's high school. Different things are happening at different levels. And then there's a world outside of school in which, like, it's just different sectors where I'm just curious on if there's any, I don't know, just how much the world played a part in all right, I'm very curious about the feeling like you almost don't belong to either side, and how that affects you, and then maybe how now you look back and you're like, I'm curious to know, what does it matter? Like, how much does it play into, should it matter? How much does it matter? How much other people put into it? Like, those kinds of things that those big questions, like, I don't know, it's kind of vague and broad, but,
well, like, how big of a role did they play in me not feeling like I belong in both communities? Kind of.
I guess let me ask one question. How do you look at other people with your experiences of how you've been looked at? How do you look at other people?
Well,
how do you judge? Not judge, but, like,
Yeah.
How do you define who a person is?
Well, for like, cause I was treated that way, even if people didn't say anything, I knew they were like thinking something. But me, because of my experiences, and since the beginning, I was never someone to judge. I was never someone to really have somebody's appearance defined who they are. And I think that's mainly the reason why I didn't know I was black, why I didn't think I was different, because I was never looking like at how people looked, like ever. I could run up to like a scary big buff dude with tattoos and piercings everywhere, and if he's like super nice, I'll be like, oh my god, you know. So I never, you know, even till now, people's appearances, people's nationality, like nothing, none of that really. I mean, I don't take any of that into consideration when like trying to figure out or define a person or see if like I like that person. Um, but I think if I hadn't gone through that and I was probably the same skin tone as my mom, I think maybe possibly my point of view would be different, because even my mom, you know, she's Mexican, but she's raising like this whole black daughter, because I don't look mixed like at all. You know, not until I start talking a little bit, people are like, oh, okay, she doesn't sound like, she says some words weird,
Sure.
you know.
Sure.
Not until that they're like, oh, okay, like that's interesting, I wonder where she's from. But if you look at me, you don't think like, oh, okay, she's like a hint of Mexican with black, and like you're just like, that's a straight up black girl, you know. So my mom, her having to raise me by herself, being Mexican, I'm taking it here because I know like I would view the world different if I wasn't this color. Because she actually, when I was younger, which is like a backhand compliment, was just like, oh, you're very pretty, like for being a black girl. That's what my mom said. And I was just like, and I didn't know better, you know, so I was just like, oh, that's nice, you know, thank you. Like, but it's just like, mom, that's fucking racist. That's like the worst thing you could say. And you have like a black daughter, you married a black man, you know. But that's just like, I'm not gonna say Mexican culture is very like judgmental, or Hispanic culture, but they definitely have their own beliefs. And you know, and that could be of Asian people and black people. They just they believe a certain thing about these different ethnicities and races. And so yeah, just certain comments that my mom would say, and not just like of me, but certain things I'd be like, okay, maybe if I wasn't this color, I'd probably be different. But I'm not too sure, because like I said from the beginning, I was never very like judgmental,
Right.
since I didn't know I was black. But yeah, I think I accept everyone with open arms.
Yeah, no, right,
you know?
right. Well, I guess like the interesting thing to me, especially, it just feels weird because it feels like we're in a new world.
Yeah.
Like stuff has progressed, and nationalities have mixed for a long time. And for some reason, people, like there's something in the brain that prevents people from thinking that when they look at people, it's like, oh, I'm looking at you and I'm gonna judge like you're one thing, and it's like, why wouldn't you assume that people are multiple things?
Exactly.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. But it's a
I have so many experiences where there'll be like street vendors like selling like the elotes and stuff, and the woman will be struggling like speaking to me in English, like, oh, you know, trying so hard to speak in English. And I'm talking to her in Spanish, like straight up, like, oh, okay, me da un raspado, me da unos chicharrones, like in Spanish, and she's still replying to me in English, like trying her best. And I'm just like, I'm speaking Spanish, like, do you not, like, if I was lighter, would you comprehend that, you know, maybe I'm a little bit Afro-Latina or something? But it's weird because, I think a lot of people don't want to accept that there's I mean, people just want to categorize you under one thing
Right.
and one thing only, you know, but yeah, I mean, I think in the future, I mean, everybody's just going to be mixed. I was reading that everyone's pretty much going to have like the same skin tone and like eye color because there's just so much.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting. I wouldn't take it back. I remember like, because now I think like, when I was younger, I would feel like, oh, I wish I was as light as my mom and blah, 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 blah. But I mean, now I definitely like, I'm super grateful to like look the way I look.
I know, for
And,
sure.
you know, I mean, I wouldn't want to really change anything. And my childhood was literally amazing. Like, I loved my childhood. I loved my friends. And my friends just played a huge role in it. Like, they easily could have been like, oh, you're black, go play over there, but never, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
So getting back to the show, what have you experienced from other like people watching it or hearing it? Have other people reached out with similar experiences, or like
Yeah.
what kind of how's that been going?
As soon as we put out the second episode, we already, like on Instagram, we had like so many message requests. And I remember opening one and it was a teacher. So we have a few teachers that have watched it and they teach like culture classes, I guess.
Sure.
And they were very like grateful, very like very appreciative. Did I say that right? Appreciative.
Yeah.
That I came out with like my story, and I think that's what kind of made me the most happiest happy to see that teachers are excited to make like my show part of their teaching
like their
program.
curriculum.
Yeah, I was just like, wow, that's interesting, just because there's nothing out there like it. You know, nobody's sitting in front of I mean, I'm sure there is people sitting in front of the camera and talking about their experiences, but maybe not to that extent of making like a whole season series yet.
Yeah. So was that the I wouldn't say like I was going to ask, was that the plan? But did you make it to be approachable to a younger audience, or was that kind of in your mind, or what was the objective? As I like to ask about objectives.
Initially, I just did it for fun. I wasn't really thinking like who's gonna watch it, you know, because I was just thinking like people really watch anything. People are into anything. People will watch another person in front of the camera eating noodles.
Yeah.
And just watch the whole 15-minute video
there's
of
something
it.
For everybody.
Yeah, so I was just like, if it's not for them, then it's not for them, you know? But I was thinking, when I was sharing my ideas with friends, they were definitely like, oh, make it like a kid-friendly TV show, just because of marketing-wise. Like, you know, then you could come out with merch for kids, and they're like, the parents are going to waste money, like, on T-shirts and, like, action figures. And I was just like, yeah, but I want to like curse. I want to make it raw. I want to make it like a South Park. But I'm glad I took this other approach instead, because I have to think like there's little Ehcramas out there, little 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds that feel different, don't know where they belong, and they could watch this series and be like, oh, I'm just like her and everything's going to be okay.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm glad I took a different approach to it. But this wasn't supposed to be like a whole series type of thing. This all started because I liked like making videos on YouTube, and eventually I just like didn't want to get ready anymore. I didn't want to be in front of the camera, so I was like, I'm just gonna make this little character and have her tell my story.
Which is actually more work.
It is more work, but I feel like it's more. I mean, it opened up so much more doors to me. I met more people that I didn't think I'd meet. A lot of people want like I'm saying like so many times. You should put a little bar.
The counter.
A counter that shows how many times I say like. No. But I had so many people reach out that they want an animation from me, and I'm not good at. I mean, if you watch the YouTube and you pay like close attention to detail, their arms are like flying off, not flying off, but they're not attached properly.
Yeah.
It's very what's the word? It's just not at that level. So, but I'm happy that I took that approach. But that's just for the first season. Second season is gonna change. It's gonna evolve into a little bit more South Park-ish type of vibe.
I kind of saw that coming.
Oh, you did?
When you said it, I'm like, oh, you're gonna. I kind of thought about it as like the Harry Potter approach too, where you're kind of like you start off for the young audience and you kind of age up with them, and now they can handle more and they could you can ease them into the process.
And the interesting thing is that we check like the demographic, and it's crazy because it's so like it ranges from like kids, and the oldest person's like 56 years old, and you know that could be the parents of the kids, and then like people our age. So it's just crazy that it reaches so many different people.
It's easy to grab onto for sure. And I'm always a fan of the wholesome approach, so it's kind of, for me it's kind of nice having it be like all cute and kind of innocent, because I think it kind of plays with a character too, where she's unaware of the world and and it reflects the tone in the.
If you watch the first episode or the second one and compare it to now, like my voice changes so much. The second episode, it was my regular like this voice as a little kid, and now I'm raising the heck out of it, like to sound little again. And, but it's fun. Voice acting too is definitely something I want to do. There was somebody who reached out to me that wanted to manage me to do like voices, but I'm just really trying to focus on the cartoon. Like I said, a lot of doors have opened. A lot of like producers, people who've worked on other TV shows want to work on it, but Elvie, who's also my partner on it, decided that it's probably best to we'll keep pushing it on our own, just because, I mean, you never know. They could always steal the idea regardless, but I think we could probably push it on our own until somebody wants to, like, pick it up. But yeah, it's been really exciting. It's definitely a lot of work. But I enjoy it. I enjoy, like, seeing the comments. I enjoy people enjoying it and making them laugh. So, yeah, I think I'm just going to continue.
No, for sure. So you're talking about how like the teachers, like a couple of teachers reached out, and I don't know if you had any other examples of stuff that's come out of it. I mean, I guess you talked primarily about it, where producers and stuff like animators, voice actors. You're kind of, because we talked about that before at the coffee. Was like, I'm like, all right, well.
You're like,
I know you as a cinematographer and behind the camera, and you were just looking for something to kind of get a creative outlet in another avenue, and this was that. And I'm like, well, I think I asked you that too. I'm like, well, what's the goal? Are you trying to be an animator? You want to kind of work your way into that? But it's nice. It's nice having options and stuff opening up, and you don't know what's gonna happen, which is kind of cool.
I do remember we talked about it. It is a lot different. I kind of got so used to being on a chair staring at my computer that when I was on set just a few days ago, I was just like, okay, where do I go? Where's everything? It was just so different. And but yeah, I mean, I guess the goal right now is just to make that particular show grow. I don't exactly want to like sell it off to anyone. If I still want ownership and everything, but if it could ever air somewhere, that would be amazing. But as for me being an animator, I don't think I don't see that happening, but
Yeah.
I did do a short animation for a rapper, and he really liked it. So I think that's where most of probably the business is gonna come from. But
Okay.
the thing is just for me, like, to stay busy, stay creative.
For
yeah.
sure.
So
Yeah. So can you give us, well, I guess for the people at home, where can they find the show?
on YouTube, it's called Hella Black Mexican. Instagram is the same, Hella Black Mexican. I think that's and Twitter is Hella Black Mex.
It didn't have the full.
There was just not enough characters.
Oh, really?
You could only
Okay.
use 15 or something like
Shucks.
that. But yeah, go ahead and check it out. It's very spontaneous. You have like rapping in it. We have singing in
No, it's
it.
very cool. It's all
Yeah,
over the place.
yeah, it's kind of like my brain.
Yeah.
You know.
So, what? Before we switch into a new topic or something, how far have you planned out with it? So you're on episode 12 right now,
Yes.
season 1. How many more episodes of this, and then you're gonna take a break, or
So
like what's the...
yeah, I'm gonna do 20 episodes.
Okay.
So I need 8 more to complete the season. We wrote out the majority of the episodes, and then I'm definitely taking a break because it's so time consuming, and just a lot goes into it with getting like actors to do voices and everything. I'm gonna take a break for a month and just basically be marketing, trying to make connections and network with other people that might want to join season 2, because season 2 is gonna be completely different, and season 2 is probably gonna start on February of next year.
Okay.
And that's where we're bringing in, I don't know if you've met Danger already. He's a rapper, great voice, very animated voice. So he's gonna come in and basically teach Ehcrama, like, this is Black culture. These are the rappers. This is, this. So he's gonna be the one kind of guiding her. So it is gonna start becoming more like a South Park type of vibe.
Is there gonna be a time jump, or from season 1 to 2, where she's like aged like 5 years or anything? Or is it gonna be...
Yeah, so it's gonna be about 4 years that she ages. This last episode's gonna end with her graduating like elementary school, and basically her just, I don't want to give out too much, but
spoilers,
her just being desperate to have that figure, that Black figure in her life. And so that's when Danger comes in and
save the day.
Yeah, so she didn't know that's what she was looking for. She just needed, she needed guidance, and Danger saves the day.
Sure.
So yeah.
Cool. I guess I was gonna ask, I don't know how interesting you feel this could be, but about the making of, I guess like it would be nice to hear about the timeline, because I know we talked about it before, and I was like, it sounds time consuming. You're like, it is time consuming, but I'm getting pretty good at it, and I can probably bust out this X amount of time, X amount of minutes of animation in like a day or a couple of days or whatever. So I don't know what the stages are. Like, I don't know. So you have the writing? I'm gonna guess.
Okay.
I'm gonna guess what it is. I've never done animation before, but I've heard stuff. So I'm assuming you have your script, kind of normal, and you've got it. All right, you've got the writing, and then you've got the storyboards.
Okay.
Is what I'm gonna guess. Is you have a loose animation idea of how you want to cover each scene, and then you have to go in and you animate it before you get the audio of the voices, or do you do the voices first? But is that it? Is that all that takes?
That's close. Oh. So initially it did start with a script.
Oh.
A script. Then it started with beats. So beats, do you know what beats are? Should we explain them?
Explain them.
So beats are basically, you're telling the story in bullet points, and every time there's a change or a shift in the story, you create another bulletin point for it. So it's like Ehcrama and Eddie are talking. You know, that's one beat. Ehcrama gets up to blah blah blah. Since there's a different action, that's like another bulletin.
So kind of like an outline.
Yeah.
I think of it. I see it as an outline. I don't know. Wait, what'd you call it?
Beats. A beat sheet. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So, same deal.
We start with the beat sheet. Then we kind of make like a loose script. The script's basically just to get the dialogue. And then after we get the dialogue written, that's when we record the voices.
Okay.
And then after we record the voices is when we start creating the characters. We start creating the background, start creating the props.
You create the background of the character after you've done the voice?
Yes.
Whoa.
Just because sometimes if we create the character and the person can't participate in it anymore, or for some reason, like, I need to go do this, and they can't come out in it anymore, we already wasted time, like, creating that certain character for it.
Yeah.
And also, we like to listen to the voice, and then we're picturing, all right, how is this person going to look?
Inspired by that versus casting the voice based on the creation.
And that was how it first started.
Yeah.
Now, today, in September, I write like a lengthy paragraph, this is what's happening, and I just jump into it. I highlight like, all right, we need a background there, we need a background there. The good thing is we have all the characters already, like it's just a repeating character, so we have them already. We just drop them in the timeline. Backgrounds I was struggling with because I was literally drawing them out, and Elvie and I were just drawing out every background, every single detail, but we started using stocks, Adobe stocks. So that just made our life so much easier. Bam, we put the background, put the characters in there, call up people, hey, we need voices for this, that, third. Okay, I could do it. All right, start doing their character. And that's pretty much it. I think it's taken me a lot longer because I started working now. So I'm trying to do like both at the same time.
Yeah.
And I mean, I enjoy it though, because like I said, I have to stay busy all the time. If I'm not on set, if I'm not, doing anything with my time, I feel like
You go crazy.
I go crazy. I literally I'll get anxiety through the roof, So I'm glad I have this to entertain me.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what is the estimated amount of hours on your side? Or I guess, do you have a ballpark idea how much? Because the episodes range from like 2 minutes to like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So I don't know how long that takes. I mean,
it's about. Let's say I really sit on it and do like 9 to 5.
Yeah, if you did it all back to back, sure.
It would probably take me. And this is having the voices already and everything ready, just animating. I think it would take me about 3 to 4 days. But yeah, just because we need to get in touch with people and all of that, and we're waiting on people, it takes a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And because I work, but I could definitely like sit down and 3 days have something like solid. So yeah, like I said, it's going good.
No, for sure. It's very cool. Yeah.
Are you ever interested in doing? No. I'm interested in getting your voice. You have a very particular.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for the call.
I'd love. I'm always looking for voices.
We'll see what
I'd
happens.
love to have you on there.
What was your question? My interest in what?
Yeah, would you ever be interested in animation, or what about directing animation?
I don't really have that dream.
That's not my dream.
As a kid, before I was really exposed to film, I did have dreams of who was I inspired by? Like I wanted. I think there were like certain actors that could change their voices. I don't know. For some reason, like Jim Carrey's coming to mind as having like a wacky voice. Yeah. Whatever. Like I was like, oh my gosh, like I would write. I guess like as a kid, I would write cartoon ideas because of course,
nice.
Like I watched cartoons, so I'm like I would love my little kid dreams, I would love to have a cartoon where I created, like, I voiced all the characters, and I could, like,
that's cool.
I could do that. But I have since grown up.
I'm an adult.
I haven't fantasized about doing voices in a long time, but I did at one point. It did really excite me.
So there's a chance.
There's a chance.
I mean, yeah, because I never pictured myself ever tapping into animation. But yeah, now that I found myself doing it, I think I've just built a relationship with that little character. I know it's me,
it's yourself.
But when I see her, I'm just like, oh my god, I love you. Like I like watching her move. Like I just feel like she's like alive, you know. So that's what really keeps me going, because just seeing the way people feel about her, and you know, so I'm just like, okay, this is a good thing. But I didn't ever picture myself doing a full season on YouTube. Like, that's crazy.
It's very cool. I think about, what was I gonna say? The other thing that I don't know if you put too much stock into this, but I think about it a lot, is like you doing that. Like, it's cool because you have so much control over it.
Yeah.
Which, like you're saying, Alvi was trying to tell you, like, let's keep the control over it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like with you doing the animation, you voice a character, you know the story, like it's kind of on your schedule, on your timeline, and so it's kind of like, I like being in control of situations with, like, we can, because that's why I like to edit my own films a lot too. Not because it's, well, monetarily speaking, it's a lot cheaper.
Yeah, of course.
But I also, in like the super indie world of producing short films and stuff, I hate waiting for, it's like, this would take like a day just to edit this like 3-minute thing. Like, I'm just gonna do it. So there's a lot of power in.
And I feel like you probably understand, obviously, the story more than an editor that you would pass it on to. I mean, the good thing about having another editor is they can interpret it in a different way, where you're like, oh wow, I didn't see it like that, you know? So that's the good thing. I've been editing all of them so far. I let LV edit one, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna keep editing. But I mean, sometimes it's good to give that control to somebody else. Eventually, that's what I want to do. I kind of just want to like supervise it. If it ever gets as big as I'd want it to be, I just want to be like, you're like checking in, like, all
you're
right.
like the showrunner, that kind of, you're like, it's my vision, it's my story,
and just having these animators.
I can tell you if it's right or wrong.
And I mean, I'd hope I'd still be the voice for it. So, I mean, I know I'd have like the control over that and the emotion. But I mean, that'll be the day, you know, when I get to.
We'll
here's
see.
my
see
baby.
What happens.
Let's see what you do with it.
We'll see.
But how's your? I know you have. Oh, it's done, right? Pretty much.
I'm assuming you're referring to the feature film.
Yes, Eddie's feature film.
It's what's
in the
on the.
It's what's on the outside.
Inside. It's
what's on the inside. Yes, I was thinking of the
Based
initials.
on the old lessons of, you know, it's on the inside. It kind of comes back to
the
hella black Mexican. It's, you know, in the end,
it's what's on the inside.
It's what's on the inside that counts. Be a good person, or whatever the lesson is going to be.
I was literally on my way. I was thinking about that, like just being a good person. Like, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I'm like a hopeless romantic or whatever, but I really feel like love is everything
Conquers
on earth.
all.
I mean, it just sounds so cheesy and corny, but when you look at it, like, love is literally the reason why people live. Like, your love for filmmaking was the reason you came here. Your love for filmmaking still is the reason why you're like you'll keep working to like make it, you know. And I mean, love just takes a it's everything, you know. And I didn't realize it on the way here. I was just like, damn, that's crazy.
Was
like,
there a revelation today you just had?
Yeah, I was just thinking, you know, it's so important to love. It's so important to have positive thoughts. And obviously, when you're feeling love is when, you know, you're having positive energy, positive thoughts. And oftentimes we just get so stuck in like right now that we forget. Like when you forget what you're passionate about, I think that's when you're not yourself. You know, so I think love is.
If you lose track of what you want, you don't really know who you are anymore.
Exactly. But my point with this is that love is the core of everything. And it just sounds corny, but it's literally the core of life. Like if you're not here to love something you do, someone, you're wasting your time. You know, I don't think there's any other purpose but to love here on earth.
I mean, I agree. And it's a tough world out there where I just imagine, because that's, I don't know, yeah, we can come back to it, but I was going to say, yes, the feature's done.
Oh.
The feature is done, but we can talk, it's love or feature, they're one and the same.
Let's do feature, because it's what's on the inside.
Yeah, it'll be a recurring theme, I'm sure. But yeah, the feature is done.
Yeah.
I locked that in a few weeks ago now, maybe. It was a hassle the last few stages. Because I don't remember where I was when we last met up, but like I had to spend the last bit of, or like the early bits of quarantine, just deciding, almost kind of like I had to switch out of editor brain and go into director / producer brain and think about like, all right, how much more time can I chip away at this? Like it kind of is what it is.
Yeah.
You can only send it out and get feedback. Like every time you send it out for feedback, you're gonna get something back, and then you're gonna either decide to change it or not change it.
Yeah.
It's like, it's up to me. What do I want? Which I was waiting for that moment, and it finally. I finally made like a deadline and kind of like, all right, I'm happy with it. It's all that matters.
Okay, yeah, I was gonna ask, like, are you content? Like, do you feel like this is what you see? Is that what you feel? Like, is that? Well, yeah. I mean, you said it's done. Not gonna make you go back and change it.
No, yeah, because I look at my projects, I feel like a little bit differently than a lot of filmmakers. I don't know. Like I hear a lot of filmmakers kind of beat themselves up over and over again about stuff that they made.
Yeah, I can see that.
And I've always been one, almost to my detriment, to see the positive on what came out of it. I'm like, I learned this on it. Like, of course, it wasn't all perfect, but I know the circumstances in which the decisions were made. Yeah. And in those moments, I felt like all the best decisions that were, like, I stand by the decisions that were made. I'm cool. I can move forward. I can be happy with it. Be happy with the experience. So it's kind of like that with the feature, too.
I mean, that's good. That's good that you think that way. I think it's important. I mean, me, I don't think I would be able to. I'm a Libra, first of all. I'm indecisive. So, I mean, that's like a lot of control. You have a lot of control.
It's been a lot of, I mean, I've been working on it for a long time, but
how long has it been already?
On the feature?
Just the editing.
I was thinking like maybe 6 months of editing.
Wow.
But then, all right, so we had to shoot it, and then basically just the editing phase for 6 months, where it was just me tackling the 180 scenes or whatever I had to edit.
Wow.
And then of course I got like a rough cut, and then was sending it out and getting feedback and stuff. And then after that, I was lucky enough to have a post sound mix guy, and then Connor, the DP, colored it.
Oh, okay.
So then that was that post post-edit phase.
Yeah.
All right, let's lock in the score, lock in the color, lock in the sound.
Nice.
And then those took another few months to lock in.
How many hours would you work on it a day?
Maybe like 3.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't like I knowing I don't like getting overwhelmed, and I found I found methods to prevent myself from getting overwhelmed.
Okay.
So
well, that's really important. Yeah, sorry. I'm just thinking because that's really important because I don't take, like, even when I'm really frustrated or even when I'm really tired, I keep going. But that kind of starts stirring me away from wanting to go back to it.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think that's important that you find methods to edit and still feel like you're doing enough, you know, because...
Yeah, because it's a marathon, not a sprint. So I knew, because knowing that the workload is so massive, it's easy to get overwhelmed with like, oh my gosh, how am I ever going to get this all done? But the point is, like, I would try to do like a scene a day or that kind of thought process. And then I'd save the bigger scenes for later or do some bigger scenes earlier because I had a vision for them, or I can, hop around and do stuff. But,
yeah.
Yeah. So
that's good.
Yeah, we had some hiccups at the final stages of this getting it done, like just like exporting issues.
Oh God, that would scare me.
So it's just like, it was so upsetting having all the files ready. It's like I got the sound mix file here, I've got like the DaVinci color file here, but we're coloring off of these other files here, and so like so we have the raw files that are being colored. So we got to export the color from this. There's like that issue with the export there, but like it's all done.
Yeah.
And then I've got to get that export done, and then get that export to combine with this thing, and then
it's a lot.
And then get the credits and tack that on.
I mean, I'm proud of you. You've only been here I think 2 years, right? 2 or 3
November
years?
will be 2 years. Yeah.
And you already got a feature done, boy. Like, yes, I've lived here for 22 years. And I'm almost done with 1 season of a cartoon. So, I mean, you're doing great stuff.
All those years it doesn't count. It's not the same thing.
I mean, a little bit. I feel like I definitely did waste a lot of time. And I'm not saying, like, the cartoon's, like, finally, know what it is. But I think I did waste a lot of time. I mean, I'm only 22, first of all, so I just became legal to drink last year, so
congrats.
I think I was living life a little bit, but I could still balance it with stuff I want to do. So
sure. Yeah, I mean.
Wait, I hope you can't see my foot. You think you can see it?
Oh, it's a clean sock. You're fine. Yeah. But yeah, it's done.
I was gonna ask you another thing too. Sorry, I'm the host now.
Go for it.
I was gonna ask you well, you didn't overwhelm yourself, so that's actually good. Because I was gonna say, like, how do you feel? Because you'd be on the computer for hours, and then you'd tap out of that. Like, did you feel, because mentally, I feel like I'm still, like, when I started going on set again, it was just so different for me after, like, sitting on a chair for so long.
Yeah. Like,
are you going to continue to edit, like, your own feature films, or do you think you're going to get help in the future? Like, I could only assume that it was overwhelming.
Well, I would prefer not to. Let's say, as I'm moving forward, thinking about, like, all right, sweet, how do I make the next feature? It's kind of where my brain is now. It's like, all right, cool, I've got some, whatever. Who knows what's going to happen? But I would love to be in a position to where I had the option. That would be nice.
Yeah.
To where, like, because have a deep respect for editors. I don't know how editors do it, because I don't think I could sit in front of a computer for that long if I wanted to. Like, I just can't do it.
Yeah.
It kind of takes me back. This is like to like high school and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
There's always a people that are bragging about their all-nighters that they pulled before a big test as they were cramming and studying.
Yeah.
And I'm like, kind of like what you were saying is that at a certain point I like nothing's sticking. Like, I'm looking at the book, trying to studying, and like I'm obviously nothing is going to be retained. I'm better off just sleeping and going in, with what I have, you know. So I've kind of kept that mindset through like everything. With I'd rather get sleep than power through something that's painful. So I like the idea of having my own editor, and then going in as a director with editing experience, being able to have the conversations with the editor. Like, I like that idea a lot.
That's good.
It's like, because like you said, like with It's What's on the Inside, I like the idea of, like, I wonder what the movie would look like if somebody else cut it, because there's always the situations where I feel like I'm too close to the material. I've spent too much time with it, because it's just going straight from writing into production into editing. I'm like, I know what I want, and I shot it in a way where it had to be edited in a certain way to make sense. But I know there's opportunities in there that I just couldn't see.
I mean, but that helps when you send it out, and I mean, you could mess with the editing a little bit more, or the timing is so important in editing, especially when it's, when you're telling jokes. It's like so crucial, because sometimes it won't even hit, and then you're just left with like an awkward scene.
Awkward's good.
Yes, I mean, you're the king of awkward. That's funny, because I was literally thinking that. I was just like, I remember you were telling me that somebody said you're awkward, or that you make it awkward, or that. And I was just like, this is gonna be an interesting podcast if you're like purposely making it awkward.
I'm just like sitting
and
here.
I'm just like, oh my god. So what do you think about the coronavirus?
No. I'm a big fan of awkward, for sure. And that's a lot of my latest material has been like more the subtle awkward.
This is why I say you should tap into cartoons.
You think it's a good landscape for...
I think it'd be perfect. I think your humor would hit. Like,
but I don't want to do all the animation.
No, you'd just direct. You'd just be the director.
Who am I directing?
Voiceovers, I mean, obviously at my level, we don't get like the whole big screen with the character talking and the person in the booth. But I mean, you have to know how to direct the scene in order to get a certain emotion from the voice actors. And voice actors, it's literally the same thing as acting. You're just not on screen. For sure. But I think you would.
I mean,
it would be so funny to have you. I should have you direct an episode, actually.
If that's what you're asking.
I mean,
I'm open to it.
Yeah, I think you have really good humor. I think it could be a little bit dark sometimes.
My humor can be dark?
I think so. I feel as though it can. So.
That's a weird thing about like making stuff, because you can probably attest to this too with your series. But like, you put stuff out there, and you don't really know who's watching it, or who's taking what from it, or who's paying attention, who cares, who's looking into like like the evolution of the artist too, or like anything like that. So I don't even know if you watched any of my recent shorts, but
I do. They're really good.
Sure.
I really enjoy watching them. I mean, you nail the timing too. That's what I'm saying, like all the time. So that's very good. Editing is definitely it's an art of its own. Just like every department is so crucial to creating a film. I was gonna say, what was I gonna say? Okay, what did you just say
We're
a few
talking
minutes
about
ago?
my shorts and you watching them and awkward humor.
Oh, and the way people might perceive it,
Mm-hmm.
That's funny because I was checking my comments for episode 12, and Hella Black Mexican is loosely inspired by my life, so it's not all like
Yeah.
100%. I mean, my life isn't that super interesting, but just like the incidents that happened did happen. But when it comes to my dad was a part of my life, in and out, because my parents did get divorced, but obviously they're perceiving it as like authentic, like 100%, like to the core real, which I was just like, whoa, like it's not like that, because one of the comments was just like, oh, I didn't grow up with my father either. Like, he's a deadbeat. Like, I wouldn't even look for him. Why did you waste your time looking for your dad? And I'm just like, wait, like, my dad isn't like a deadbeat. Like, my dad is, he actually loves me. But, they perceived it differently, obviously, because that's how I'm putting it on the screen. But, yeah, it's just so important how you like put stuff out there and how you edit stuff a certain way, because I mean everyone's gonna perceive it different. But yeah, that's like one of the things where I was like, oh, I need to make sure people know this is loosely inspired,
because you don't really mention either way on the authenticity of the story. Like you don't, because there's a lot of narratives that kind of lean on based on real events or based on a true story, or this is the story, or like whatever the case. And I don't think you don't mention it.
They're
really
just like little stuff that happen, and I mix it with like probably the plot of the story.
Right, but I mean, like you don't open up the show with little text that says like you don't really tell people.
Yeah, I think initially I did say it was based on a true story, but as I started going through it, I was like, no, it needs to change. I mean, there needs to be a plot first of all.
Yeah.
So
your life isn't.
I think using the dad, but I mean, I still relate to all of that, because I was still, my dad wasn't always there, so it did affect my childhood. But yeah, I love the editing aspect of it. I think that's where I exceed the most when it comes to the cartoon.
I guess, yeah, since we're on, I like the editing in the show a lot. Because I'm like, because I mean, there's a lot of humor in there, and there's like the score kind of swells up at times, and you've got some cool some zoom ins and wides. I'm like, what? This is like legit filmmaking right here. That's why I was like, oh, there's got to be storyboard. She knows what she's gonna hear, but like I don't know. Yeah.
I just see it in my head, and as I'm editing, I'm like, oh, this could be a cool zoom. So I go back and I'm like fixing it. I have like 4 different programs running at once. Anytime now, my computer's just gonna die. But it's working for me right now.
One thing I wanted to kind of just reminisce on, especially, all right, I don't know. Like, let's talk about our history and how we met, and kind of reminisce on all the film sets and stuff like that. Like, all right. Let's hear from your perspective on meeting me. I really like hearing about myself.
Of course.
How it goes.
So I met you on the set of the clown one, which is called...
At the time, it was called Circus Road.
Circus Road. Very interesting movie set. I think that was one of like the exciting ones I was on. But I was actually not even supposed to be on set.
You came in late, right?
I did, because they had a second AC who wasn't really doing her job, I guess. I came in and I killed it.
You killed it in comparison. I was like, dang.
It's funny because she was black also, so I guess people kind of confused us, or some people never thought she left.
But really? That happened?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I'm a different person.
Whoa.
But, yeah, I remember meeting you. I think you were one of the first ones I actually met on set, because right away you, like, came up to me and you were like, hi, I'm Eddie. let me know when we have like a lens change, blah, blah, blah. Very sweet, very, very soft voice. I was like, oh my God, he's so nice, so for you being like the first face I see, other than like Dave, I was a little bit intimidated by because his piercings and he just seems very like.
He's a classic
but as soon as
dude.
he talks to you, you're just like, wow, you're nice. So and then you were the next person I met. I thought you were very nice. I thought that. I mean, the more I went, you were definitely very. You just pop out of nowhere, kind of, and just be like, "Hey, how's it going?" And it's just like, "Oh shit, hey, Hetty, what's up?" But yeah, I mean, I thought you were cool. I think we like connected and talked about like working more outside, right?
Yeah.
A film. I thought you did your job really well. You never looked like you were cold, and it was freaking freezing.
I was cold.
And you were just, I mean, you were very
Just gotta play
into
it off.
your job. Yeah, and you made your job look very easy. You just looked very chill, very relaxed all the time. I mean, I've been on set where script supervisors are very like, no, that's not what she said. Like going up to the director and being like, no, it has to be this. Like very crazy. And then the director going off on the script supervisor.
Whoa.
But here it was just very like,
ooh.
Yeah, you did your job very good. And I think you were like one of the people on set I could definitely like go to and be like, hey, how do I, or blah, 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 blah. Even though I never really asked you for anything, but I think you're just very welcoming, because for somebody who's new to set, it could be very intimidating, meeting new people. You don't know what level of expertise they're on. So me being like brand new, just leaving freaking film school, the experience was like nice.
Was remind me, that wasn't like your first feature set or anything, or you're making it sound like it was. I'm just trying to clarify.
Well, feature film, yes, because I've done music videos a lot before and short films. But like a feature, it was my first one. I'd still be on short films that were still like 3-4 days. But yeah, I think this one just felt more different because I only knew LV. On other sets, I knew maybe like 4 or 5 other people. But and then also, not Dave, but the operator. I forgot his name. He was older, like an older man.
Wait, the DP.
Dave was the one with the piercings.
Yeah, he wasn't the DP though. Dave was first, right?
Yeah. Dave was first, and then the DP.
I don't remember his name.
I don't remember his name, but he did intimidate me a little bit. Like just because he's older, he's a senior, he's been doing this stuff. But I did do second AC before, but never in that weather. Never like just. It was always fun.
Yeah,
this one definitely felt like a
we had a lot of night. I don't think we did like overnights, but we had like late nights.
Yeah.
And it was like November, October.
It was freezing. I was not ready. But it was fun. I'd definitely do it over again.
Yeah.
It was interesting. There's some spots where I'd be like, how is this gonna cut? Because this looks ridiculous. Oh, actually, don't put that.
No,
it was fun.
It happens. But like, did I ever tell you about how I got on that show?
No, I don't think.
Because that was, I had literally moved to LA and was on set of
the next day.
Like, I moved to LA on a Thursday and was day one Circus Road that Sunday.
Wow.
And
how do you get jobs that fast? That
was crazy.
That is good.
So no, it was through a script supervisor email chain of some kind for like intro script supervisors, because all I had really done before that was like my workshop the workshop and like short films and stuff.
Yeah.
But I moved there, and like an email came in like during the drive or something, and
oh wow,
it was like, anybody looking to work for like the rate was like super low. It was like $150 a day or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, of course I'm down. Like I need to be on set.
Yeah.
And it was only to cover for the first 3 days because the guy was sick, and he's like, yeah, it's coming up, and I need like the first 3 days off or whatever. I'm like, all right. So I showed up and I was doing it, and the dude emails me. He's like, actually, like, you can just keep it. So I gotta. So that was pretty cool. Like, I was super lucky, and I hear that never happens.
How was your experience?
I enjoyed it. No, I mean, I always think about my position as script supervisor on set as always, like you said, like I come across as really chill and like everything is going smooth. And I'm like, well, like, so I don't necessarily have a lot of power on set. So I don't stress very much because I'm just like, I see stuff and I have recommendations.
Yeah.
And I'll chilly go over to the director and be like, yo, this dialogue, she never said the line. Do you want her to say it? Oh no, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Off, yeah.
Yeah, because then, and that one was a tough one too, because there were moments where I'm like, okay, what's the geography of this like hotel? Like, where is this room in comparison to this room? Because we need to have her run. Because she's like running from the clowns, and she's got to end up at this other location. I'm like, okay, like, where is the location? Like,
you need to know where.
Like, draw me a map. Like, in this fictional world, what does it look like so I can know as the continuity guy? So there's like,
I never thought of that.
Because otherwise, actors are just running in directions, and then it cuts, and you're like, earlier she ran that other way, like that whole kind of stuff.
That's true.
But yeah, I don't know, it was my first feature, and I've grown a lot since then too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm no longer doing the paper. I was doing paper back then.
Oh, now you're using.
And I use the iPad now, and that's all I really have. I'm just slaying it.
Oh, that's nice.
So it's super cool.
Yeah, sometimes I'd look at you and I'd be like, damn, I want his job. That's how chill you'd make it. Because I was running back and forth, batteries, lens.
Second ACs are, camera assistants are always
on the move. It's funny because we're going to be shooting another music video soon. And last week we did a music video. I was second AC, and I told LV, like, yo, I think I want to start ADing now. Like,
right.
Yeah, I think the cartoon just took so much of my time sitting doing nothing that when I had to move and think fast, like, you need to be on your feet, you know, when you're a second AC, just like making sure you know what they need at all times. I was not that. I was like, I'm supposed to be slaving. Oh, like, I forgot everything. I was like, I need to slowly get in the groove again, and I definitely want to try out ADing, not because they don't physically do much. I mean, that's a perk, but I mean, you physically, you know, you have to sometimes wrangle with talent and all of that.
It's a lot of walking, but that's kind of like what it is.
So
a lot of walking, you know.
I do want to
that kind of walking too.
Yeah, I want to try that out. I just want to like try different positions now. I think for sure cinematography I'm always gonna go back to.
Sounds like you want to be in charge is what it sounds like.
Yeah, I think just like being on this cartoon and getting in charge.
Because you're the director, producer of the cartoon.
Yeah.
And then DP is, of course, the head of the camera department, and then AD is the head of the whole production.
Yeah.
So it's like, I just want to be a decision maker, right? That's kind of like
true. I didn't see it that way, but I think that's the way it's heading. But I have so much camera stuff that I just can't give up. I just like everything.
Just can't give up.
I love everything.
No, it's cool.
I might, I don't know, build
You might
a
retire?
car one day, become a dermatologist. I don't know. I think I'm super spontaneous. I just want to keep
You said you might build a car one day?
Yeah, I might build my own. I mean, when I was little, I had a dream of building my own car. So, I mean, that might happen. You never know.
Sure.
I think I'm always doing. I have like 10 different Instagram pages, photography and cinematography, Hello Black Mexican, stuff I'm selling. I want to come out with like a skincare like I'm kind of wasting my time. Like if I'm not
pretty scatterbrained there.
Yeah.
You'll figure it out. You got time. You said 22, so
yeah.
It's like, it's you got.
I mean, it goes by really fast. I feel like I just graduated high school like last year.
I like to tell people, like, I didn't start figuring out who I was until I was 23. Like, I didn't even know who I was.
No, I feel that. Because I feel that right now. I'm, like, looking at myself like, okay.
No, you have an idea of, like, I don't know. It's a little bit different. Because I was still, I didn't graduate college till I was 23.
Oh, okay.
Like, I did my engineering track. And...
Wait, I did not know that.
Yeah, I went to the University of Nevada in Reno and got my bachelor's in mining engineering.
What?
So, yeah, my plan was to go the smart route and go make some money after college. And then save up, because I'd be making like 6 figures out of college or something crazy like that. So I was like, all right, cool. Do my time, do a couple of years out of mine, living in the middle of nowhere. I've got nothing to do. I'll just save all the money. Then I'll move to LA with some cash.
Well, I mean, that's smart.
But then it didn't happen that way. But yeah, I was like, because I was born, like I missed the cutoff date of like...
You're December?
I'm September. My birthday's this month. So I'm Virgo.
Mine too.
So I was born in New Mexico, Albuquerque, and when we went, because there's like they have the date that after that date you have to wait till the next school year to start school or whatever. So I was like at the very end, or I just barely missed. I was at the very early of the new school year date, so I was like always the oldest kid in class.
Yeah. So
I always think about it too when I graduated. I'm like, dang, I was 23 when I finished college, because it was like like I turned 19 first year of college.
Yeah.
Super early on, and I took 5 years. So, I was 23 and gone through some crazy relationships and stuff that really tested me, as we do, and. Yeah, it wasn't really till then. So when you say 22, I'm like...
I mean, but it does go by fast. I think
it takes forever.
It doesn't. I mean, I feel like if somebody asks me, which I was asked not so long ago, like, how old are you? I said 19. Like, I literally thought I was 19. I'm about to be 23 on the 23rd of September.
Oh, nice.
So... I mean, I think I have an idea of who I am and who I want to be, but I mean, it sounds bad, but I think I'm just kind of going with the flow of it.
It's perfectly fine.
I just think like I don't want to feel like I'm wasting time, but then I'm just like, there's no race. Whenever you figure it out, you figure it out.
Because if going with the flow means... Because I don't know necessarily what that means. But I do know what it means. So I think about, like... If it... Okay, do you equate it to living in the moment? Like, are you trying to be really apparent to, like, surroundings in the now, and then kind of grabbing opportunities as you go? Or are you very like forward thinking, where you're not even really thinking about this moment, and it's about the future? Like,
oof. I feel like I'm in the middle because I am living in the now while thinking of the future.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever I'm doing now, obviously I'm thinking like, okay, this is gonna be where I'm at in the future if I do this a certain way now, or
Right. What you do now helps dictate
yeah.
what's to come. Yeah.
So I mean, I'm going with the flow in a sense of I'm gonna stick to this, and whatever happens is gonna happen after, like, whatever happens.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that I definitely just have to stick to something because, like I said, I just said I wanted to be a dermatologist. I wanted to build a car. I want to do so much.
Sure.
But I think with just focusing on one thing for at least like 3 years, I'm gonna be able to do anything, just sticking with one thing, and then it could branch out and have more opportunities. But yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm older. Like I'm 22, but I definitely feel like I mean, at least my body, like my back hurts, my knees hurt. I'm 22 and I feel like I'm maybe 37. I'm supposed to be 37.
Nah.
I do. I'm such a homebody. Like my friends will invite me before the virus, like, oh, let's go out, get some drinks. I'm like, no.
That's
like
fine.
it's
That's
10.
fine.
But
age doesn't dictate whether you hang out with friends on it's like that's more personality trait.
That's true. I just see more 22-year-olds and they're not, I mean, at least I don't think they're as stressed as me, or just
yeah, they are.
They just don't show it, huh?
Everybody is stressed.
Yeah.
And people do those things to avoid being stressed. Like people go and hang out
to de-stress,
just to like avoid life. So it's like, I'm gonna go out and party and hang out with these people because I don't have to think about life when I'm with them. And so they spend all their time avoiding the things that are gonna come up at some point versus just accepting them and understanding that something will work out here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't regret anything. I'm very happy, where I'm at. I'm very happy to have the support I have from like family, and because my brother's gonna be a doctor. Me, I'm an aspiring filmmaker slash animator slash entrepreneur slash whatever, and my mom's just like, you go. While my brother's like studying his ass off for finals. So it's it's very different.
It's different tracks, yeah.
But I'm grateful that they're supportive all the way, and I mean it's important to have a supportive family, or else you build your own supportive family, because sometimes your own family is not very supportive.
Yeah, so you've been blessed with a supportive family.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I think my mom, ever since I was little, I think she'd always seen that I had like a thing for creating. When I was 7, I made my own little stop animation with my little poly dolls, and I had a YouTube channel, excuse my language, called grandmafuckyou.com. And me and my friends came up with it.
When you were 7?
Yeah.
Dang.
I don't know. It was just something.
Yeah.
Like, go to www.grandmafuckyou.com. Like, that was the way we ended every little animation.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I mean, I was into that. I'd take her flip phone and do little stuff with it. So I think she always knew, like, okay, she wants to do something in the creative aspect. I'd make my own like cell phones out of cardboard.
Yeah.
Just always kind of being
creating
crafty.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely thought of going the smart route. I did go to UCR.
Smart.
Yeah, the smart. To UC Riverside, and I was sitting like in an anthropology class, I think, and she was talking about monkeys and the evolution, and then we had our clickers and we were looking on board and we had to like answer the question. And I just remember thinking and like looking at everyone, because it was a huge lecture, I was just like, damn, I'm not supposed to be here. Like, I'm just pretending that I belong here. I was studying to be in HR, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, I need to get out of here.
So you were studying to be HR?
Like a human resources? Yeah.
But this was an anthropology class.
Yeah,
how did you know based on the class you were in?
No, well, see, first
how does
off,
that work?
When I had applied, I had clicked for my major to be something in film or media, but I think I had clicked the wrong thing, so it had said like human resources or something, and I don't know, I just remember like just being there in that anthropology class that I actually needed. I don't know why.
Yeah, sure.
But I didn't think like, oh, I don't belong here because this is not my major. Like it says this is an HR.
It was just school.
It was kind of just like, yeah, I'm not supposed to be in this school, you know, studying my ass off or memorizing shit to pass. Yeah. So, yeah, I was just looking at everybody putting like their answers in the clicker, and I'm just thinking like, okay, I'm definitely not supposed to be here. I just left the lecture, went home, dropped out online, and then applied to the LA Film School, and then started the next month. And I remember calling my mom, and I was like, hey, so you know how I'm, you know, and she's just like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, well, I just dropped out of like UCR. And she's like, oh, okay, well, what's the plan? Super supportive. I'm just like, well, I'm gonna go to the film school. I don't know how I'm gonna pay it off, but you know, we'll figure it out. And she's just like, all right, if that's what you're gonna do, if that's what you know, that's your calling, then go for it. And I did. Moved back with my mom, took out loans, which don't do it. Don't go to film school. Just
okay, I was gonna ask.
Just go on set. Just talk to people. Network. I don't think film school helped me like connect with people with similar interests, obviously, but I didn't learn anything until I was literally on set. You forget everything, like freaking Chaplin and those old movies. It's amazing. That's awesome, but I need to be on set.
Yeah, it doesn't really correlate to what you're actually doing as an AC or anything.
So I wouldn't recommend it. Go to YouTube Academy, freaking YouTube University will teach you everything. Will teach you more. All the tools you need. What's in my AC bag? They'll show you like the tape and markers. So
okay.
Yeah. Unless you want to be in debt. I can't say this word properly. Debt?
It's just debt. You don't pronounce the B. It's just DET. Debt.
Debt.
Yeah.
Unless you want to be in debt. So.
Yeah, debt's no fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
Was that a pun? You said debt's no fun?
That's not a pun. You mean a rhyme?
No, a pun.
That's
like instead of saying that's no fun, you said debt's no fun.
Oh no! I didn't plan that at all. All right, so we were on Circus Road, and then we were
oh my gosh.
So we were all right. So I remember from there. I think the timeline works out to like we were gonna. I think van life came next. So was that like, did we straight up ask you if you're down at DP, or how did it end up working? Because you ended up DPing that for Michael.
Yeah, I think you had messaged me and you asked me like, oh, I think you just plain out told me like, would you be interested in DPing a short? I said yes. And then we had like the first meeting at your place. I don't quite remember. I think we did go over the script, go over like the outline. I mean what is it? Of like of the house. But yeah, I think that was the second thing we worked on. You were script supervisor and sound, right?
I was sound and producer.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I don't think we script super. I didn't take any notes or anything. So
I have a picture of you like holding the boom in the middle of the street.
yeah. Michael was not very happy with the sound. I remember.
Oh, he wasn't?
No, because I couldn't. Like I said, I had Michael on the podcast last time.
Yeah.
And he brought up again how he made sure to pay for the post sound mix because he's like, we only. You know, he's used to lavs and stuff. And
yeah.
I only boomed it with my little dinky
yeah.
boom. So, like, I thought it was fine.
So now he learned to, and I mean, sound is so crucial.
Sounds yeah.
You definitely.
You know, we did what we could to shoot the thing, which was the important part. But,
I mean, I think it was a good little piece, especially if he wants to be like, this is what I want to do.
Yeah, a little concept.
Yeah.
Short.
So I think it was fun. The acting was really good. And it was. I enjoed it.
Yeah. That was a fun thing. So we did that. And what came next?
Then you came on my set for Who Shot Ya?
Who Shot Ya? Which... rumor has it come out yet? What's
happening? I have a trailer. You can check it out.
Oh, nice. Off camera. Off pod.
But I think you were there for like 2 days, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I came in to help finish it, or did I come in late? I came in later, right? Or was it I don't know.
You came because we had 4 days. You came in the last 2, I think.
I think that sounds right.
Yeah, that's still not done. It's almost a year already.
Because your connection to it, it was somebody's project for school, right? It was
it was all of our thesis.
It was a thesis project. So you had to turn something in, though, right? Like.
Well, LV was supposed to be the editor. I don't think he ever completed it. I think we have a rough, like, of the entire thing. But after the notes, he never, like, did anything to it.
Oh, okay. Like, the rough was submitted, and you guys got notes on it, and then, like, that was good.
Yeah.
It's like, sweet, you shot something. Here's your grade, and like, that kind of deal.
And the reason it's taking so long is because we want a score for it. And Danger, who's one of the main characters, he's working on the score. And at the same time, like, working and doing. I mean, we all have, like, a bunch of other stuff to do. But it's one of, like, my proud pieces. So I was like, wow, it looks really, really good.
There's some tricky stuff in that. I just remember the big house. Like, there was a big oneer sequence we did in the house.
A big what?
Like a big oneer. Like a big one shot,
one take. That was...
That I had to hide. Like, I had to do something, and then I had to, like, hide behind the door for the rest of the take.
I hate... That's, like, the one shot in the entire short film that I hate.
The one that I didn't have my eyes on. Shucks.
Yeah, I mean, we I think nobody could see it. It was only
You're shooting everything.
Yeah, so. And yeah, when I seen it, I was like, oh my god, this is not what I wanted. But, you know, you don't always have control, so it was fine. And then I think that's...
Let me see. Let me see what notes I had. I think I remember... All right, I guess only from there, pretty much, you came out for 1 day or 2 days on my feature. You were gracious enough to come
day.
out. And you were, like, dead that day, too. I remember. I was like, shucks.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were busy around that time, and we were just desperate for extra help, and you...
And then I had to leave early, too. I had just showed up for a few hours, and then I had to take off. Yeah. Maybe. And even my feet came out. Yeah,
there was one shot when I was editing that I realized that Ehcrama's foot was in the frame.
Oh my god.
I just had to crop it in a little bit.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah, so there was that. But otherwise, we've kept in touch, and and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, it's been good. I think you're You're very talented. Your humor is great.
You're very talented as well. That's why I talk to you. Cool.
Any more news?
We talked about a lot.
We did. I think it was very scattered at the same time.
No, it's very good.
But
That's how it goes.
I think it was good.
How
do you feel about the vaccine?
How do I feel about the vaccine?
Yeah, like when it comes out, is it something you want to get?
Here's the issues with the vaccine.
Oh.
No, it's not really the vaccine itself. It's that I think there's too much mistrust around the vaccine.
Yes.
In general, to where most people aren't going to get it. So even if you do get it, not enough people around you are getting it. Like the whole purpose of a vaccine is to create herd immunity.
Mm-hmm.
So if enough people get it, then at least the people that didn't get it are still safe because all the people around them have the vaccine.
Yeah.
So everybody's safe because the smart people are protecting the dumb people. Or whatever, the vaccine, the herd, whatever. What did I say? Herd immunity?
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it's kind of a tough position for this country because we don't trust nobody right now.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like,
definitely.
Hey guys, we have it right here. Trust us. It's ready. It's good. It's and even if I'm like stoked about it, I'm like, sweet, I can get back to work and I can go to work safe. It's like, is everybody gonna get it or?
That's true.
So that's more about what I think about versus like the conspiracies about the chips and the little nanobots or like whatever that is.
I think it's definitely heading somewhere.
You're talking about the vaccine?
I think it's just like the beginning stages of an agenda. Not to be like conspiracies or whatever, but it's just so interesting to me that it takes them this long for a flu type of virus. I don't know. There's just like a lot.
It always takes that long, though.
I just feel like where we're at now, 2020, the technology we have, the knowledge we have, and we're not prepared for something like this is kind of just like mind-boggling. Like, whoa.
It's a very fragile society we've built.
Yes.
Where
that's a good way to put it.
We can get toppled so easily with like this. But that's the whole thing about viruses in general is it's a constant war between the humans and the viruses where we both want to conquer the world. And
that's interesting.
And the viruses are really smart and they're changing quicker than we can prepare for them because it's like, oh, we got a vaccine. It's like, well,
I see.
It's like, psych, we've already evolved. It's like you're getting sick anyway because we've mutated. So good luck keeping up with us.
That's true.
So it's just, I feel like we're just lucky that the virus isn't like the plague where 80% of people are just showing like these deformities and growing these huge like lumps. And
how did you feel when they first announced like the shutdown and all of that? Were you like genuinely scared or concerned, maybe for family or something?
I was never concerned for family, which I feel blessed to like know that like, all right, for the most part, like my dad works isolated, like he does field work, like mechanic stuff. So he like works on his own in the mountains of Tahoe. Good. So he's like, it's like cold and hot and all that stuff. But he's like by himself. Like he's not gonna get it. It's fine. And then my mom could work from home, and my brother was staying home, and so like everybody that I cared about was fine.
Safe, yeah.
And then I knew that I'm in a healthy position and whatever.
Yeah.
So I never had that response to it, but I did have the weight of the impending not knowing how bad it was going to be.
Yeah, I think that was what was
just
the scary part. My mom, she takes the bus to work, so it was definitely something where I was like, okay, you're not taking the bus. That's like the worst
place to be.
Yeah, everybody's like touching the poles, sitting everywhere. But yeah, I remember people were putting out videos, but they weren't of the virus. They were just people reacting to, like, having seizures and stuff. And they were saying that that was the virus. Like, that was what was causing it. Like, people throwing up and acting crazy.
I never saw those.
Never. I mean, I think I'm on social media way too much, but
you kind of went searching for it.
Yeah, it was kind of like, no. As soon as I seen that, I was definitely like, oh shit, and I was just like, well, if it happens, it happens. If I get it, I get it. I feel like I'm strong enough to fight it, But I was actually very scared, but it never made me like act out and buy a bunch of toilet paper. Like I never did that. I actually went to the vitamin section and started getting a bunch of vitamins, teas, a bunch of fruits. Like, I don't know why everyone went to the toilet paper when it's like there's medicine and vitamins.
Well, because America, we're not really a place for like preparing for the illness.
I could tell now.
It's
something wrong
or anything like that was. It's more of like, let's wait till it breaks and we'll fix it then versus fix it before it breaks because money.
That's
gotta
true.
Save that money. We don't want to invest in the levies. We want to just wait till they.
No, I get it. Yeah.
But I don't even think I did much besides hide. Because.
I mean, it did work out for you too, because you just stayed home and edit, right? Did a little bit of editing.
I've always been good about keeping myself busy because living the freelance life, there's just spans of time when you're not working. You're like, I got to do something, either writing or editing or
that's true
or whatever. So I had that, but there was still this big weight of the world, and that preventing me from being productive too. It's just like, how can I even focus on this? Because when am I going back to work? Because I had a feature lined up. It was like the year was going beautifully for me. I was making because as you mentioned, I'm just now barely hitting my second year in LA, Mark. So it was going to be the start of my second year, pretty much. Was this year, so I was like, great, I have a year of foundation under me. I made connection. I've been on sets, and then everything was grabbing at the beginning of the year, and I was like on set all the time, and I was like making bank. I was like making the highest day rates I've ever made, and I landed on a feature, and they're gonna bring me back. This is like a weird thing, but I was the only department head. Well, I'm a department head as a script supervisor.
That's true.
Department of one. But I was the only department head to come back from that feature for the next feature. So I was like, sweet. I feel like super, like, I did a good job. They liked me. I'm back. Everybody else, I don't know. But so I'm like, sweet, cool. I got another one lined up end of March. And then everything kind of came out, and they pushed like a week, and then of course, like, it just never came back. And then when stuff started coming back, I'm like, I wonder when they're gonna start shooting again. I tried sending out some emails, and they just didn't know yet. And then I see another script supervisor posted a selfie from set, and he had the title of the feature on there. He was like, whatever, day one. And I'm like,
no way.
I'm like, wait, how did I fall off this thing? But regardless, it was a beautiful year.
Yeah.
And then everything fell off the rails for, most people, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think I think my year still went beautifully. I can't complain, and it sucks because I know there's like essential workers out there really like doing their job and risking their lives. But I was home. Unemployment check was coming in. I got a dog. I just moved into a place in NoHo. So it's still going beautifully.
Yeah.
You know, it just sucks because for some people it was really bad. And me, I'm used to being home. I'm used to being crafty and working. So it literally just felt like any other day. The only thing is I couldn't like sit and eat my sushi inside of the restaurant.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, because you're not one to go out and hang with big groups of friends anywhere. Like,
I'm not.
Let's grab brunch. Let's go to the bar. Which is
funny because now I'm just like I want to. Like I want that. I want to go out now because everything's shut down. But once it was open, when it was open, I was just like, oh, I'll pass. I'm good. Yeah. But now I'm just like, oh, I want this.
It'd be nice.
Yeah.
Maybe give it a shot. So you got a dog.
I did. His name is Oakley.
Yeah, you posted a lot of. I think you did the classic, like a lot of Instagram stories in the beginning. You're like, sorry, I can't help it. One more, like all that kind of stuff. It's a cute little doggy.
He's so smart. So doesn't like cuddling. Actually, he's just getting used to getting cuddled.
Okay.
But I've always wanted a corgi. I think I've been looking into them for a minute now, and as soon as I had like seen him, I got him off Craigslist, which I was a little bit like iffy about because they wanted a deposit like straightforward. So I was like, okay, well, fuck it, and I sent it.
Yeah.
But
and it worked out.
It did. Yeah, I'm very happy. I think. Everybody needs a little pet.
All right, let's talk about that. Why did you get a dog?
I used to have a dog 3 years ago. Her name was Princess. She was a Chihuahua, but she was very aggressive.
Princess is also in the series.
She is in the series. She kind of disappeared.
It's a scary looking
dog. She's gonna come back.
Scary looking dog.
She's very overprotective over my mom, and I couldn't get close to my mom. If she was sleeping on me, I couldn't move, or else she'd like attack me and bite my leg. Anyway, she passed away, and I really missed her. And I kind of just wanted to raise, because my mom raised Princess as her own dog, and I kind of wanted that companionship for me.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just wanted to care after something or someone. And so...
Sorry, 1 second. I forgot about this.
Uh-oh.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I'm looking at the camera. But, no, I've got to... my roommate has a rental to drop off.
Oh, to drop off?
Well, somebody's going to come pick it up. I'll leave my phone on vibrate. Alright. Cool.
I forgot what I was saying.
You're saying Princess passed away. You're looking for your own companion. And I guess what I'm trying to get to here is like, how does one know? It's almost like having a baby. Like, how do you know when you're ready?
I thought I was ready initially. I wasn't that ready. As soon as I got him, I looked up everything. I got everything I needed. I got him toys. I got him a bed. I got him a crate. And he ended up really just using my sandal to bite. He did not use anything. Did not use the $50 bed I bought him. The crate he didn't use. The toys he didn't like because he wanted my sandal. Literally, if you're gonna invest in a dog, just get him a little like playpen, pee pads, and food, because he's not gonna pay attention to anything. He doesn't care about the clothes you get him. I got him so much clothes, so but I thought I was prepared. As soon as I like got him and we came home and I set him down, he like peed everywhere, and I was just like, oh damn, all right, here we go. I didn't do anything for about 2 weeks, just training him, I'd get in the shower and I was literally like hearing him cry in my head. So I'd jump out of the shower and he's like sleeping, and then I'd go back in the shower and then wash my hair off. I was just so like traumatized. I felt like I couldn't really sleep because I wanted to make sure he wasn't dying or anything.
It's definitely it sounds like a baby. That's what it sounds
like. It
like.
was, yeah. And then Elvie would come back out of nowhere and just be like, oh, he's gotten so big after I've done so much work by myself.
Right.
But it's paid off. He's so smart. He's 5 months now, and at 2 months, he knew how to spin, he knew how to sit, he knew how to roll, how to do paw. So but he's not that potty trained yet. He could do all these other tricks, which is cool.
Yeah, because I guess I've seen quite a few people get pets during
quarantine.
Yeah,
that's actually interesting.
But it makes sense, is because like most of us, especially in the film industry and such, are home more than ever. So it's like I could see how most people are like, I never had the time for a dog before, but now this is indefinite, and who knows, those things are going to get back, and I need love. So get back to love. So it's like, I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to get it now because I want it anyway, and I know I'm not going anywhere. So I don't know if that was like what you were thinking.
Well, I was, before quarantine, I was already thinking of getting a pet. But we didn't exactly have our own place yet. We were at my mom's. So I talked to her first about it, like, hey, do you mind if I get like a little puppy? And she was kind of the one that was encouraging it. And then quarantine hit. I got distracted with the cartoon for a bit, but my mind would always go back to just searching for corgis. Like my whole Instagram explore page was full of corgis. My YouTube recommended was full of corgis, and it was just finding the right corgi for the right price. And that's exactly what I had seen on Craigslist. And I went for it, but it wasn't because of quarantine. I think regardless, I still had time. Like, I'm a homebody, you know. Most of the time I do work from home. And I had just graduated, so it was just easy for me to be home. And then I make my own schedule, really, so it was just.
And your new place too, does it have like space for the dog? How does that all work?
So we have a front patio and we have a back patio. So he could just run from one door and go out the other one, which is what he does. He just goes in circles all around. So I really love that, because at my mom's, she has stairs, and I would literally every 2 hours have to pick him up, go down the stairs, make him pee, go back upstairs. So it was very tiring. Here I just like open the door, he goes out, poops and pees, and it's just like the perfect little place. And we also are decorating it inspired by like his colors, because he's a tricolored corgi. So we have a lot of like browns, which is wood, black, like furniture. So
you're decorating based on
on our dog, and I mean he looks great in there. But I'm excited. I'm gonna train him to be a second AC. I already got him a little vest.
It's like, we need some marks. We need some marks down here.
But or
Drops
to wrangle
little
stage.
Put the T marks down. That'd be perfect.
But he's smart. I'm pretty sure he could. They're herding dogs, so I'm pretty sure they could maybe be like a second AD and herd some talent on stage.
Well, and then you're gonna have all the talent that are like, I'm allergic to dogs.
Oh my god. Then sorry, you're fired.
Sorry.
We can't fire Oakley. But it's been a good year for me so far. I think I'm feeling more in touch with myself. And I'm excited for what the world has to offer my 22-year-old self, or my 23-year-old self.
Which is coming up. Dang. Yeah, because I've got my 3-month calendar up there.
Oh,
September's
nice.
on the right. So I just put your birthday on there and then
on a Wednesday. And your birthday's on what?
19.
19? Oh, okay. That's my friend Victoria's birthday, I think.
Yeah, so I'm actually working that day. I'm on a short film.
A Virgo.
Mm-hmm. Straight
you
up.
You seem like a Virgo.
I'm super Virgo.
That's interesting.
How do you...
My take on Virgos?
Yeah, what's your experience with the Virgos?
Well, one of my best friends, she's actually a Virgo. And she's just, her energy is very different from yours. I actually think you guys would clash a lot.
Virgos clash.
And she's good at putting up a poker face. Mm-hmm. She's good at talking to people in a certain way to get what she wants.
Mm-hmm. Are you saying manipulative? Is that what you're saying?
In a way, I think she knows how to like talk to people. Yeah, I guess manipulative.
It's called directing.
Oh, okay. Virgo. What else? I think the toxic traits of a Virgo are...
Let me pull it up.
Yeah, you should actually.
Virgo traits. You said toxic traits?
Yeah.
Dang, I didn't know that.
I think one of them might be no.
All right, here's the 5 most toxic things about you according to your zodiac. Virgos are perfectionists by nature and can be pretty damn critical and controlling as a result. If this is you, you might also have a tendency to work yourself to the bone, get overly tired, and become pessimistic when you can't keep going. Oh,
doesn't seem like
That's not me.
Yeah, see,
their self-critical personalities cause stress if they're not careful, obsessive compulsive disorders. I mean, that's not me.
Yeah, that's why I don't think you're a Virgo. Are you sure? Did you check your birth certificate?
But as far as like the other traits, like there's a lot of things, because like the need for control, like loyal, passionate, observant, like of the observant, like that's the script supervisor in me. It's like I just sit and I'm quiet and I watch.
That's true.
And like I don't know.
That's cool.
I don't know. I have enough traits from like, I mean, I think that's kind of how it works too. Is like there's enough in the description to you're like, all right, sweet, it fits me.
Yeah.
But I thought I was closer than what it was. But I don't know. Maybe your friend is more toxic Virgo than I am.
She's. I mean, I don't know. Just her experiences in life and stuff. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, a lot takes role in your zodiac sign because it's just like your moon sign is like your personality. Also, your features, like that comes from your moon sign. It's crazy.
Is moon sign, is that the rising and stuff? What's that? How do you
I think it's the rising. The rising something. I had looked it up. Mine was like a Scorpio. Mine said that I'm very... I could be very dark, like when it comes to... I'm very mysterious, which I don't see that. I think I'm like an open book, like you see me and you're like, oh, hey, what's up? But it says that I'm very dark, very mysterious, that people have a hard time trying to read me because my face says something else, but then my voice is very like, hey.
Is that the case for you? Do you do that?
Not really. I think I can't fake the way I feel. Like if I'm bothered, you could definitely tell I'm bothered. If I'm happy, you could tell I'm happy. Okay. And then you could tell when I'm faking a smile, I think. I mean, well, for the most part, I never fake a smile, but I think you could tell. Yeah,
no, I feel that's how I am too, which is I like, let's say my default response, like I have a hard time getting excited, like I can't fake excitement. So like in terms of somebody just had a baby or something, or or it's
I
like
could
cool.
see
It's
that.
like cool. Like I can't fake like congratulations. Like I don't. It's not me. So
See, but a Virgo's very good at that. That's why maybe you're
are
a
they good
Libra.
at that?
Yes, like I'm telling you, my
Being
friend,
fake?
she's so like if she's not happy for you, she could fake it to the max.
That's not me.
But I mean, she's acting.
I could be friendly with people that I don't agree with.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I think your character's just very. Is your mom very quiet? Like,
Yeah.
doesn't say much. Just
My
observes.
mom, yeah, no, my mom is very quiet. My dad is the talkative one in the family for sure. He's the storyteller. He's the loud one, and my mom lets him have the stage.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So you took after your mom. That's nice. I took off after. I don't know. I'm definitely a balance between my mom and my dad.
That's usually how it goes.
I think sometimes people have more traits of their personality traits from their mom, is what they say.
I think because I have a younger brother, 3 years younger. I think like people say that my physical traits are more on my dad, and his physical traits are more on my mom. And then the personalities are
swapped. Yeah.
So it's kind of it's nice to have a little mix.
Yeah.
But yeah. And the other thing I was going to actually bring up, I don't know what could come of it, but one of my recent goals, I'll probably do this after you head out, is trying to see what happens about learning Spanish.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Well, my show's bilingual, so you could learn a word or two.
Yeah.
How are you going about that?
Right.
Duolingo?
Yeah. That's what I was watching actually, because my mom, like I grew up, I felt like in like a bilingual setting, like in New Mexico, like on both sides of my family, everybody in the older generation like spoke Spanish, and then like my grandma would babysit me, and it's like Spanish on TV and Spanish.
I actually wanted to ask you that. What's your nationality?
Like homemade tortillas, and I was like all the good stuff. But as far as my nationality, I actually talked about this with Michael a little bit too. Was I'm like 2/3 like Spanish, Hispanic,
like Spanish Spaniard.
Spaniard.
Spain.
Yeah, and then like 1/3 like Native American Mexican.
Okay.
So, because there's a lot of I don't know specifically like who comes from what and what tribes or like anything like that, but because when I was younger, kids would always ask me like who like what I am.
What are you?
Because it's like you're not white, but you're like not like Mexican like that. So it was like kind of like a thing for me. And then people would sometimes guess like I'm some sort of Middle Eastern or South American. Or, like nobody knows. So
I don't. I was driving here. I was like, I wonder what he is.
So that's kind of been cool. Like I'm a fan of people not knowing what I am, but I was having a thing like how you kind of said you were researching like Black people and like all right, let me listen to the artists and kind of figure out let me grab some culture. Like I've always had this little feeling of like I wish I was just taught Spanish when I was a kid. Like it'd be so much easier if I just knew it. Because like my mom knew it and she could speak it, but my dad never spoke it, so like I just never got it. I don't blame you, mom and dad. It's all good. But so my mom had kind of lost it over the years a little bit because we like moved to Reno when I was young, so I didn't grow up around that family enough to pick enough up. But so my mom kind of lost it, so she recently was gifted the Rosetta Stone. for Spanish. It's just an online like class. You can learn languages.
Nice.
So she has a Spanish version, and I was talking to her, and she's like, "Oh, you can just share the same account." So I've recently done like 2 sessions, but
what do you think so far?
what do I like it. Well, because let's say before I got into film, or as I was trying to make the transition into being like a full-time freelancer in Reno, I worked at a call center for debt collection. Like I was a collection agent for a while.
Hang up on you.
Exactly. And they would have a whole Spanish line for calls. Like if somebody got on the phone and was like, all right, you have to transfer it to a Spanish speaker.
Yeah.
And people thought I was lying about not knowing Spanish because I didn't want to deal with the Spanish calls.
That's funny.
Because I would sometimes be like, I learned enough little Spanish words to be able to like let them know I was going to transfer the call or whatever. I was like, or wrong number. I was like, numero equivocado or something. I don't even know if that's the right. I was like, numero equivocado?
Yeah.
I was like, see? Oh, okay. Like as long as they say it's the wrong number, I can remove their number from the system.
Yeah.
So I was trying to get them to say it, so I didn't have to, because transferring's a pain. Whatever. But people would. I think because I grew up around Spanish and I knew enough Spanish words growing up for like little things and stuff that I have, like I can roll my R's and I can do all that stuff already. So when I would say things, they're like, "Oh, this guy knows Spanish."
Yeah, doesn't want to deal with
so it's kind of nice. I kind of hope I can pick some stuff up, but
I think you definitely can. I think Spanish is very, I mean, it's a lot easier than learning English. You know, English just doesn't
make any sense.
Have a root, like if you know Spanish, it's so easy to learn Portuguese and a lot of other languages. But I mean, that's awesome. I think it's awesome to know 2 languages and it helps you. I think if I didn't speak Spanish, but I was still half Black, half Mexican, I definitely wouldn't have the relationships I have now. It's so important. And it's so crazy how different people will treat you as soon as they hear one Spanish word come out of your mouth. Like I had people or moms or whatever look at me like weird, like, or not tell me hi, like at party functions. And then as soon as I'm just like, oh hey, talking in Spanish, they're just like, oh my god, I love you.
Oh, you're one of us.
Yeah, and I'm just like, damn, I don't even want to like sit at your table.
It's weird.
Yeah, it's definitely weird. And
but it's also cool. Like that's I like being able to, like, I like the idea of being able to, it's almost like there's a whole world out there that you can't tap into without the language. So having the keys to just communicate is super helpful. And anything we can do in this day and age to connect with people, I think, is important. So, but yeah, I've been on this kind of like mindset of doing a little bit every day adds up to a lot over time. So like I've talked about it before and I post about it sometimes, but like I've been reading more and I just do like 30 minutes a day, and I've read more books in the last like 8 months than I've read like in any time up to like right now. So I'm like, oh, like just read half an hour is not much.
That's good.
And I'm like, oh, I'm getting all this. It just, especially as a creative, like you're getting different perspectives on different time periods and different voices. That's important. And I'm like, cool. This is like so much. Books are great. So I'm trying to apply that to this now too. It's like if I just sit down and do like a session a day and make flashcards and like all that kind of stuff and walk my streets and try to interact with people, because like this whole area is just Spanish speaking, so I'm just I can just try to order tacos one day and try to keep it Spanish. Whatever.
That's cool.
So I'm excited. We'll see what happens.
That's a good little goal. Now I want to read and learn a different language. I want to learn like German. or something.
What are you gonna do with German?
It's just weird, you know. No, actually.
No, there was. It's kind of reminds me of Who Shot Ya, where like people involved in a project hit you up when you have nothing to do. It's like post, and it's like I was just AD on that. Like, I don't have links to.
Were you on that email chain?
Yeah.
When the guy.
Yeah, multiple times.
Oh God, he literally was desperate.
So, do you have any advice for since? Just a segue out of that. But do you have any advice for people? Like, what if you wanted to get footage from a piece that you were a part of? What's the recommended way to go on about it? Or how would you like to be approached? Because we're all decent people. We're willing to work with and help each other out. I don't know.
I wouldn't hit up a script supervisor. I wouldn't hit up a PA, a DP. I think I'd start probably with the producer, then the AD, then the director, or anywhere within those three. But I wouldn't be really like begging for my footage. But see, I'm not an actor either, so I don't know how important. I mean, I'm sure for them it's important because it's like they've put in this whole effort as a different character, and
they probably showed up for free.
Yeah,
and they just like need it, like
that's their job, you know, like their job is acting. So yeah, I mean, I'd probably contact either the director, AD, or producer. But I don't know. I think eventually I'll just be like, fuck it. When I see it, I see it. Whatever.
It's a tough spot.
But I think he probably feels like, oh well, if in this situation of this person that was just hitting random people up.
This one or the other one? The email.
The email. I think he probably felt like he did a really, really great job, or this was just a character so different that he's done that he probably was excited to put it on his reel.
I think it started with excitement, and then it was like, all right, like, when can I get it? And then it's like, all right, I'm upset now.
Yeah.
And now I'm just doing this to get on your nerve because I'm frustrated.
Yeah.
So.
But we did end up sending him his part.
Oh,
and
nice.
I hope he's happy with it. He did such a great job too.
Right.
I didn't want to like burn that bridge, you know, because he did really good. I was very excited to see him on screen because I was there for the casting, and I think all our actors actually did phenomenal. So
yeah. It's the right thing to say, that's for sure.
Yeah.
How is you mentioned to me off before we started that this is your first interview. It is.
I was actually very nervous.
Yeah.
A little bit.
What did you do to prep to fight the? Because you're doing great. Because
I didn't do anything. I got ready. Because one thing, I was not gonna get ready. Because I was like, I mean, I know you were gonna be recording it, but I haven't gotten ready since quarantine.
Define getting ready. What
like I haven't done my makeup. That to me is getting ready.
Okay.
You know, I mean, my makeup's really simple, but even then, I haven't done it for months. Actually, like maybe 2 years. Yeah, and quarantine's just been a few months, but I don't blame it on quarantine. So I actually did my makeup because I was like, you know what, maybe if I put some makeup on, it'll help me feel more not confident, but I'll feel more comfortable, maybe.
Just like it feels a little bit more prepared.
Yeah, I feel like I'm prepping, I mean, I would do that. I would put makeup on, so yeah, but other than that, I was thinking of like topics, but I think I'm very good already at like going on a tangent all the time. So I was like, that's not gonna be a problem. And then I was just thinking, like, it's Eddie.
It's Eddie. Well, come on.
Like,
prepare for this.
not that I didn't have to, but You're like super chill, you know, and we've had conversations before and we just keep going, so I wasn't afraid that it was gonna be like awkward. And then too, because I did have a podcast with my friend, anytime there was like silence, it was just like we'd be able to cut it, whatever, but we'd be thinking like, okay, maybe we should say this, blah, blah, blah. And so yeah, I wasn't that like nervous, but I think this is good. I had like an interview that with somebody from a host at a Spanish TV show, and I never went through with it because I was like nervous.
How recent was that?
That was as soon as the cartoon started. He had checked out the cartoon and was like, "Hey, I want to interview you on my podcast. Are you down?" Yes, I'm down. How exciting. Thank you for supporting. When the day came, first off, he's in Miami, so it was going to be online podcast.
Like all right.
Yeah, and the times he had said like, oh, 2:00, but over here, 2:00 is like
5 over there.
Yeah, so once he was ready to go online, I was getting ready. Like I was doing something else, and then he hits me up like, "Hey, are you ready?" And I was just like, "Oh, I didn't even know. Like, I'm in LA, you're in Miami. Like, this is the time, you know, we didn't correlate well on that."
There was some miscommunication.
And then after that, it was kind of just like, "Oh, well, we could do Tuesday." And I was just very nervous because I don't know what people are going to ask. I know initially it's going to be about the cartoon, you know, and I just didn't want to say, like, the wrong thing. Because when it comes to, like, race, it's so difficult. People are very sensitive about it now more than they were before.
More than ever.
If I would have said the things I said before now, I'd be canceled, like, quick. You know, I think back then people just communicated different.
When you say back then, what are you referring to? What?
Like probably 2010,
just even like
2012.
5-10 years ago?
Yeah, I'd say like 8 years ago or so. I think people...
Yeah, things change quick.
Talked different. You know, Generation Z, I think, is the...
Gen Z.
They
aren't you
have
Gen
no...
Z?
I don't like to think of myself
are you
as Gen Z.
You edge of
I think I'm millennial. I'm 97. I might be Gen Z.
You're on that teeter of either way, so.
But it's just so crazy how quick people get canceled nowadays. It's so hard. I mean, I assume for comedians it's very difficult to, because comedy is just about making fun of shit that's like
stereotypes.
Sensitive. Yeah, it's like sensitive now, but yeah, like stereotypes.
Well, that's kind of the humor, is you're calling out stuff and like you're making fun of things that people are observing or whatever.
Yeah. But it seems like even then,
it's a weird position.
Now they're very limited on how they say it or what they say.
Well, that's what you would think.
You know.
I mean, yeah, they're finding creative ways around it for sure.
Yeah, there is. But I just think this generation's very...
So that kind of scared you off from doing the podcast a little bit?
Yeah, and just not knowing... Because my Spanish is very well. I had mentioned before we started the podcast that I don't feel like I speak English very well or Spanish very well because I just know 2 languages, but I've never like really focused on one language. You know, at school it'd be English, but as soon as I get home it's Spanish, you know. But yeah, like some words I can't pronounce in English, like... Whoa. I forgot. There's just some words I can't say, and I'll like pause. And then there's some words in Spanish, and since the interview was in Spanish, I was a little bit nervous. I'd ask my mom, like, okay, how do I say quarantine in Spanish? And she'll be like, dude, relax. Like, Spanish is your first language. As soon as you start talking, you know, you'll get into the flow of it. But yeah, I never like contacted him again to do it. So I think this built me a little bit more confidence.
Yeah. Because I feel like there's always the room, especially if it's just like a podcast. I mean, not that I've done many podcasts either, but like, of just reaching out and having that communication of like, all right, cool, like, what are you gonna ask me? Like just getting the upfront clarification if that's the fear. Because I've been on a couple where people are like, oh, you made a feature, like come on to like my little indie film podcast, and where I just like we want to inspire filmmakers and get indie people, and like, all right, cool. Yeah. And then I'll hop on and I'm like, shucks, I thought you were gonna be asking some like decent questions here, and then it's over. I'm like, you didn't ask me anything. There's no back and forth.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was dumb. And then I don't tell anybody I was on it.
Oh my god. Yeah. So I think, well, he told me like, yeah, it's gonna be about the cartoon because he's also Dominican. He's an Afro Latino, so yeah, he was just like, yeah, let me get you on the show. And I was already freaking out. As soon as I got the message back and he was like, oh, get on the show, I was like, yes. And then I thought about it and I was like, no, I'm good. But my mom, like, everyone's definitely disappointed. They're just like, why? Like, it's a good network. But yeah, I was a very extrovert person. As time went by, I realized how much I love being by myself. Like, I love my alone time so much that sometimes I forget, like, there's a whole world outside. Like, I'll walk out and I'll be like, damn, the sun's bright, but it's like 3 p.m., you know? And so I feel like I just became an introvert. But I could always click it on and be an extrovert if there's alcohol. So, for the most part, I think I just gotten so used to being on my own and just talking to my little circle of people that...
Does that also kind of play a part into how you go about what you create too? Like being an introvert and keeping within yourself is also leaking into, let's say, the show, where it's like I'm putting it out there, but really it's just for me, and I'm like, there's not the outreach on, like, or I don't know if that's kind of plays into that personality trait of you're happy just having it to yourself in the end, really, which is cool.
Yeah, I didn't create it for... I didn't really have plans for it. It was just something I wanted to do, and started putting it out, and then people started enjoying it, and now I'm like, oh my god, okay, it's going somewhere. But yeah, I think a lot of it plays a part, because before I just wanted to be out all the time. Before it was like, if I'm home, I'm wasting my time. So I felt like I needed to go out with my friends, I needed to go to the movies, I needed to go drink, I needed to go do something. And now it's like, I need to focus on this, I need to create this. So it's taking a turn.
So your definition of productivity has changed.
Yes.
Before, social productivity
it's caused me to be less social.
Yeah.
I'm terrible at texting. I think like I reply too faster because we don't really talk. But people I talk to, I tend to reply maybe like a day and a half later.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to change, because I hate when people don't reply to me on time. You know, on the phone, I can't get on the phone with people. I get so embarrassed. If I have to call for a dentist appointment, I'm literally like begging my mom, like, Mom,
no, really,
can you call for me? And she's like, dude, you're 22. And I'm like, I can't. So
what about the phone? Is it what's scary about it?
I don't know. Maybe I just hate getting on the phone. I hate when people FaceTime me out of nowhere.
Is it the improv of it that scares you, kind of like to put it in an actor's perspective? Because there's no rehearsed dialogue, so you don't know how the interaction's going to go.
Yeah.
So that kind of adds the stress of like, I'm not prepared for that. It can go anywhere.
I think so.
And then really, if you think about it, it's like, well, it's a dentist appointment. I'm pretty sure what they're going to say.
Yeah.
But still.
It's just weird.
Yeah, because like for me, I remember growing up, and I had anxiety for the longest time about just ordering at like a fast food restaurant, or even at a restaurant. I think my parents, I was a quiet little kid of just like, and my dad would have to say it or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they would make me at some point they started making me order for myself, as you should as a parent. I feel
Yeah.
But I would get so stressed about having to, like, on command, say a thing to the person behind the counter. It's
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. I think that's what I get now. I think it's probably some type of anxiety. Like I dropped off Oakley at the vet the other day. Since you can't go in, they call you for like the consultation. And so they're literally calling me, and I see them calling me, and I'm like, damn, should I answer? But obviously, I should. My dog's in there,
yeah.
and they're calling me to tell me, like, okay, so this is
Right,
what's wrong
right,
with
right,
your
right.
dog. But I'm literally like, hello. So, yeah, I think anxiety is probably what it is. Because I got so used to being on my own.
Yeah.
I've been watching TikTok a lot and like a lot of pranks. So I always have ideas to prank people, but I feel like I would take it way too far.
Pranking?
You know.
Okay, what kind of pranks? Like, what kind of, what's a kind of prank that you can do where, like, you're not ruining a friendship, you know? Like, what's the object, like, how does that work?
I think probably like scaring someone. Like if where I live, because I was thinking that because I wanted to prank my friend, because she was gonna come see my place today, but I wanted to act like I was gonna get something from the car, and then somebody was breaking in.
Oh, okay.
You know, to see how she'd
Yeah.
react. But I mean, I wouldn't want that to happen to me, and I think that's how I was thinking. Like, oh, I wonder if he's gonna prank me.
Yeah.
But I mean, nothing that would be detrimental. To, wait, is that correct?
Detrimental.
To our friendship, but
Or to the public.
yeah, you know.
Because staging a break-in, you don't know who's gonna see it.
That's true.
And then that could.
And then she's probably screaming all crazy.
Yeah, like that could cause some actual government fees, and you can get in trouble.
Well, TikTok. I need to get off of social media.
Yeah, because that was one that recently happened too, where some TikTok kids, or I don't know who did it, but these dudes fake robbed bank. Like they had like this fake getaway car, and they had their masks. They just run out holding bags and like running through parks and like dropping the money, like the fake prop money on the ground, and putting it back in, running, and seeing what people would do. And it's like, when you're involving the public like that, it didn't turn out well for them. But
not a good turnout. Yeah, for sure.
But let's segue out of this here. I'm glad the conversation has been nice.
Yeah, it flowed nicely.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask the big question at the end about the world. And being that we don't know how everything is going to turn out in this world, and how it keeps getting crazier and crazier, and stuff is happening all over the world that's like, woo!
Yeah.
What would you like to see happen in a positive way to change? And what kind of positive change would you like to, and just in general, I don't want to give you any hints. Okay. I don't want to lead you, or I can give you an example. I don't know.
Well, yeah, give me an example.
Like, for example, I think about, let's say, film sets, for instance. Like, I always got annoyed with how people didn't take, again, it felt like high school all over again, where people didn't take illness seriously. Where it's like you're bragging about the long 20-hour day that you just did, and you got no sleep, and you went from that other production to this production. And it's like, no, that's not cool. You should not be doing that. I don't know why they're letting you do that. You look dead right now, and nobody's saying anything.
Yeah.
Like, I hate the working sick. I hate the people being okay with people working sick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So if, let's say, going back, I mean, when things move forward and like productions become a little bit more open, I would like there to be a sustained interest in people's health. Like, I've had some productions move to like a 10-hour day versus a 12-hour day. Like, working us less because then our bodies are less beaten at the end of the day.
That's true.
Like stuff like that, where it's like if you're coughing and sneezing, like you're at like we don't, you shouldn't be here. We don't want you here. It's a liability, and we're actually taking you seriously for once.
Yeah.
So that would be like a nice plus change, is work us less
that's
in
important.
Care.
Yeah, because definitely a lot of people don't take that serious. Don't take their health serious. So. Yeah, that's very important, actually. Wow, well, I wasn't thinking like that.
We'll go inspirational to end it. Versus with Michael, I went depressing, and I was like, "Oops, I shouldn't have done that
one." A positive change.
Sure.
In the world. Wow.
It could be simple with restaurants. Maybe we don't go back to indoor dining. Maybe buffets are gone. Like I don't. Maybe like who knows?
Well, you're speaking because of the virus, right?
Yeah, the virus.
Like now heading back to
sure, it could be. It could be anything, though. I mean, it could be the whole Black Lives Matter thing and change in that area. It could be.
Well, it's
politics.
Just so hard. I mean, politics. It's so.
It's too much.
It's too much. I just hope in the future. I mean, I honestly hate talking about politics. I'm also not very like woke when it comes to politics. I know what I read on social media, but I don't really like do my research like that. But as a positive change, I mean, I just think it's so crazy how people just started like washing their hands, just started like making all these like putting all these what would it be called, like all these precautions when we should have always had these precautions, like carts, like having sanitized things for the carts to clean them, and I mean just as simple as that. But
so you're kind of hoping that is the answer that you're hoping that continues kind of forward even after we've conquered coronavirus?
I really feel like I might still wear a mask here and there.
Well, the idea is you should be wearing a mask if you're sick.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, other like Japan does, like most Asian countries do that already. It's like they know they don't want to spread their illness to other people, so they just put their mask on.
Yeah. I think that would be very smart. I just don't understand how people can't breathe with the mask on, but I guess some people can't.
Oh, how they can't? You don't understand how they can't breathe?
Yeah, some people just really can't breathe.
It's because they're not healthy people. That's why they can't breathe.
But yeah, I mean, I think definitely continuing to implement the mask when you're sick, having hand sanitizer with you at all times. Yeah, I mean it's basic hygiene, because I was doing that already. Like as soon as I go to the groceries, I come home, I clean everything with antibacterial wipes.
You were doing this before.
Before, yeah. When we go inside my mom's, we take our shoes off. We don't walk in with like shoes.
Around,
yeah, so we had hand sanitizer everywhere. We have it in our cars. So it was just like, that's why it wasn't much of a difference to me, like, oh, now I have to have hand sanitizer.
I have to be clean now.
Like, I was always like that. I don't understand how people would like go pump gas at a public gas station and then sit in their car and eat their chips without like cleaning their hands, or, you know, so.
Yeah.
I'm glad that people are more aware how fast viruses spread and how dirty everything is around you. So
yeah.
It'd be nice to see people keep that up, you know, think of the environment, think of others. But
we'll see.
Don't want to end it on a negative note.
No, for sure.
But, you know, the way life's going, people are just very.
They're gonna forget. They're gonna forget that they were clean, because they're. It's a tough. it's a tough world.
But
all we can do is control what we do.
Yes. Exactly.
So.
Well, this is nice.
Yeah. Yeah. We did it.
We did it. This is my first podcast.
Yeah. Thanks again for coming by.
Of course.
And we shall keep in touch. Hope the show continues on and finishes as planned, and the break happens, and you come back edgier than ever, and that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
So. Just remember to plug your stuff one more time since we're doing podcasty things.
It's gonna be Hella Black Mexican on YouTube and Instagram, and my personal one is Ehcrama, spelled Ehcrama. Yeah.
Great. So subscribe to her YouTube, check out the vids, follow thing on the Insta. All right, great.
All right.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bum 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 bum